What is up, Cowboys Nation? You see your boy Mike Tag here after, nothing better, huh? Nothing better than, like I told you guys, if you listen to the show this morning, nothing better than the Cowboys Steelers rivalry, man. It is just, I don't know. It never gets old with me. Not the cleanest game, not the cleanest game. I said our stars need to play like superstars if we're going to win this game. And for most of the game, that didn't happen. But some of our role players played like stars. And that's what was important. That's what was important for this game. And Dak proved it in the end. Tolbert proved it in the end. But definitely some things to clean up. But I know there was a lot of negativity, a lot of negativity. I want to be able to see your chat, so I got to put on my reading glasses. So I apologize. I took my contacts out and I can't see. So I know there was a lot of negativity. What's up, Doug? What's up, man? What's up? With this team, and some are really down on them. But guys, you got to understand, this team is wounded. This team is wounded. These are the kind of games that are going to build some character, kind of like McCain's did on Saturday. But these are the kind of games that you're going to need to steal some wins when you're depleted, when you've got nothing, and you're going to have to win some ugly games. And the Cowboys did it. And it wasn't pretty. I was cursing at Dak. I'm sure a lot of you guys were cursing at Dak too. So I'm just saying, man, I get it, man. I was not happy. I was not happy with that. But at the end, when it mattered most, he came up big. He came up big when it mattered most. And everyone always talks about, I don't care about garbage stats. I don't care about this. All I care about is wins. Well, he had to do that on the last drive. So we can, we can give him his shit for it, or you can give him his praise for the way it finished. Because at the end of the day, you gotta win. You just gotta win. And Jalen Tolbert on my show, he's taken a lot of heat from some people, and outside Cowboys Nation as well. But he came up big, given the opportunities. Our defense, this was a game you cannot, you can't, you couldn't be more prouder of a defense that was depleted with the defensive line. And then we lose Nealon. And then, you get other injuries. And, the secondary, obviously without Bland, and then Carson's not playing. So then, you got your young guy. I'm not going to say his name for Penn State because I'll butcher it. They played big. Our defense, like, granted, these guys aren't juggernauts, so I'm not going to make it look like we're the 85 Bears, but the defense played big when they had to. And I was worried the turnovers and everything was going to just destroy the great play by our defense. So, yeah. So anyway, and I would say this, Steven, I was saying it during the game. I don't know if you guys, I would put Tyler Smith at left tackle. I'd put Guyton at right tackle, and I would send Steele to the bench. That's just me. And I know he was going up against, TJ Watt. That's obviously a tall task, but the resiliency, that's what it's about. Just like McCain's, guys, the Canes showed some resiliency. These are the kind of things that build on. I said, this is going to be a funky year. I'm trying to block that light. It's going to be a funky year with the injuries, and we're going to have to win some ugly games. But if you can get everything rolling and get healthy by the end of the year, then that's the momentum. No one cares about us till the playoffs. That's what everyone said. That's what everyone said. So those who said that, don't be worried about what's going on. Just let's see what happens, when playoff time comes. But yeah, Steele's had a rough season, in my opinion. And I tell you what, I like Bass, man. I like Bass. I liked him before the season. That's what I'm saying, man. Tyler Smith, it'd be better for your pocket, too. Just kick out on the left tackle, put Guyton out to right tackle. He's played that in college, so he's fine with it. But I hope he's not severely hurt. I didn't see it, so hopefully he's not severely hurt. Looks like Nealon is, that looks like that's probably going to be season ending. And I do. Hoffman was the one, and that was a bullshit. That was a bullshit foul. That was a bullshit penalty on him. And but he's the tough guy. He's that one guy when things weren't going great. he don't take no crap. He don't take no crap. So again, and just to give a shout out to, we had a great show. I predicted the score. If any of you guys were listening on Wednesday and listening on this morning, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I said 20-17. Hopefully I didn't say 20-16, but I thought I said 20-17. But either way, I had Dallas at 20. So at least got that part right. But I thought I said 17, but we'll see what happens. But it's just a good win. It's not even a good win. It's a great win. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, again, it was an ugly game and Dak turned the ball over, 2 interceptions and that fumble, 2 of them in the red zone." And I get it, man. But did you win the game? Because that's all that matters. The resiliency that they showed, the running game. I think we got. This is a good run defense we're playing against. So make no mistake about it. This is not some trash run defense that we're playing against. They grinded it out. They changed a little bit of what they were doing. You saw the running style and the scheme changed a little bit, and they were running the ball. And Dowdle, hats off to him. I mean, hats off to him. The only thing I would say, if I can give constructive criticism, is when they were inside the half-yard line, A, I said sneak it. B, I said put Zeke in there. And then the next play, Dowdle, I don't know why he tried to jump. I mean, he was like 2 yards away. He wasn't getting anywhere. He should have just stayed low and just get what you can get and go live another play. But heads up on Dak. I mean, you guys, again, you want to kill him, but heads up on Dak Prescott being aware and jumping on that ball split second before the defender got there. So, yeah, and Lipke, another one. Man, this is what you need. You need your role players. You need that second tier guys to step up, and you saw it with Lipke. Obviously, you saw it with Rico. You saw it with Tolbert. You saw it with Bass when he had to come in there. You saw it with the cornerback from Penn State. I'll mess up his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Though you saw it with Wheat. You saw some of these guys that aren't household names, but go to the best teams, go to the Chiefs, and go to these Super Bowl teams. It's not always the superstars that are doing everything. You've got to have those role players step up. So, 445 yards of total offense. I'm telling you, against that defense, who I think they've given up like 240 a game, I would have never believed it. I would have never believed it. But you got to see, and CD and Dak, they, in these types of games, this is where I said the superstars need to be superstars. They're gonna have to step it up even more. We play Detroit, but lo and behold, we're sitting in a nice spot. We're sitting in a nice spot with the injuries. If I don't know how you guys feel about Detroit next week. That one does not make me feel good. But maybe this is something this team can build on. Ferguson, absolutely. My man Greg was at the game. He was on this morning. His brother Mike. Two great guys. Obviously, Greg, we got to know really well. But I brought up Ferguson to my man Mike, who is a Steeler fan, and he said they got the answer for him. There's going to be no issues there, and that didn't work out. Ferguson played awesome. Leo Fowl, he played that punch to knock the ball out. I mean, that's what you need. That's what you need. Home game. We better not start 0-3 at home, but I mean, they've had a rough start for home. I mean, the Saints, it was all about timing. And the thing that you'd see with some of these teams is you're going to get their best game. You're going to get their best game, and the Cowboys have to match that. They were able to match it defensively tonight, late night. It's one. I don't even know what time it is. My time. It's got to be getting close to 1 o'clock or something. And we got a hurricane coming here on Wednesday, so my kids are already out of school a week. I got to go to work tomorrow, but I'm on such an adrenaline rush from this game that I got to say, you know what? Had to get on here and hang out with you guys. And absolutely, Tolbert, given that opportunity, he stepped up. And you saw, what did we talk about too? I mean, think about it. What did we talk about? We need a running back. We need someone to take control of the running. We need a lead dog, and it looks like could be that lead dog for us. Rob, you're 1,000% correct. The one negative I was going to say, the lack of discipline pre-snap penalties, some of the things that these guys are getting. I mean, it was just that 2 false starts in a row. 1:15 my time. Oh my God. I'll get to bed soon. I gotta get the adrenaline down because I told you guys I'm old school, and Steelers, Cowboys I love, but the penalties, that's a problem. And it's gotta stop. I mean, the stupid penalties, that personal foul, that was a killer. That was a killer. Now, Hoffman was just retaliating, but you know how that stuff goes. But, I'll take that sometimes, I guess. I'd rather him be a little too tough than not tough enough. But the pre-snap penalties, those are the killers. Those 2 false starts in a row. I mean, it's so hard to overcome that. Josh, I appreciate it. And definitely, we survived the first one, but praying, still praying for our friends in the Carolinas as well. I had a really good, one of my really good friends, tragically they had, his aunt and uncle is missing, and that's just real life with everything. So I know sports, this is our escape, the real life, that's why I see some of these guys, man, and they just, you get so negative on your team and you just want to, bitch and moan. And we do it during the game. I mean, if you guys ever sat in the game with me, I'm bitching and moaning, I'm complaining, I'm cursing Dak, I'm cursing this one. But at the end of the day, man, I'm a Cowboy. And when the game's over, if they win, I kind of let some of that stuff go. If they lose, I give them a 24-hour, in the penalty box. But after that, man, it's on to the next week, man. I always say you got to enjoy the ride. And it's going to be a bumpy road. We talked about it before the season started. It's going to be a bumpy road with this team. They're a young team. There's holes, obviously, with a lot of the injuries. We've got some major holes. But hopefully what you want to get out of it is this team, builds and gets better as the season goes on. I talked about the offensive line, get better as the season goes on. This defense, get healthier, get better as the season goes on. And then you just get in the playoffs and let's see what happens, man. I mean, not always the best team wins. What's up, my man, Mark? That was definitely a good win. Definitely a good win. But, who really surprised you? Like, to me, it was the defensive line. And it really, Wheat, he was back there. I mean, I believe it was him, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he hit Justin Fields and they called it a roughing the passer. It's bullshit. He hit him. He did not hit his head. It was a legal hit, and I know they're going to overly protect the quarterback, but, it's just, that guy stepped up, and most of us probably, I didn't even know who the hell he was. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us probably don't. But that's a guy that's what you want. Those guys that are given the opportunities. Rico, defense, and Tolbert. Rick, I concur. Yeah, we stepped up big time. And really that whole defensive line. I mean, Osa, he stepped up being the guy. There you go. Perfect timing, Rick. Osa stepped up, with Parsons and with Tank out being that leader of the defensive line. Mozzie played solid. I mean, that's all you could ask for. For our defense to give up, 17 points, and some of that wasn't even, some of it wasn't their fault. But they played hard. I mean, they played hard, and they can. I don't know what the final stats were, so I apologize on the Steelers side, but it seemed like they didn't get a ton of yards on us. It seemed like yards per carry was pretty respectable. So, but definitely our running game, yeah, 100. Was it 109 yards we ended up with as a team? I mean, did we have that in 3 games? I mean, did we have that? Did we have that in 4 games? I should say. God, we're 3-2, but not to say, um, I got to eat my words, but I did, kind of knock Washington. And I mean, we'll see. It's still early, but I watched the game with Washington. I watched the 1 o'clock game, and uh, Daniels looks good. The offense looks good. Defense isn't as good. The Cleveland Browns quit today. I don't know if anyone watched it, but Washington, they deserve where they're at. So I'm not going to hate on them. I'm not going to trash them. I like that quarterback. I was impressed with him, his poise. They're going to be a team. it's gonna be, hey, it might come down to us and them. Philly's gonna be the cellar dwellers. The Giants won today. Isn't it funny? Like everyone knocked our win on the Giants, and Giants went in. Didn't they ended up winning, right? They were up a lot, but I think Seattle came back. But they ended up winning. Oh, we held the Steelers under 100 yards of rushing. That's pretty damn good when and they're not the best running team, but obviously with Fields they add more. But they were gonna come on and they were gonna challenge our run and they were gonna continue to challenge our run. So you got to know that was gonna happen. So Kelly must have dropped his video because I'm seeing some tweets from it. So my man Kelly, he better be excited. But I'm gonna remind Kelly, you picked us to lose. I don't know if it was reverse psychology, and if you did, I like the way you're thinking. But he didn't think we'd win tonight, and I said we'd win. We're gonna win ugly, but I just had a feeling that when your back's against the wall, that's when you're gonna find out the character of your team. And it's the same, like, not to bring up McCain's again, but bringing up McCain's down 35-10. I mean, I went into bed. A lot of people's kind of, but I watched it while I was sitting in there, and then I got, hooked back in. But this team's had it easy the last few years during the regular season, blowing out a lot of teams. We haven't had a lot of these close games, or we've gotten blown out. I mean, these are the games that these one possession games. I mean, now we're continuing to get some of these games, and I think that's going to make us stronger as the year goes on. And I said they just got to hang around, just hang around, because you get through. We got a little bit of a gauntlet of a schedule, but I mean, hey, San Francisco, they don't look like world beaters anymore, dude. That's why I say things change. Some of the teams that you thought were so great maybe not be so great. Some of the ones you thought would be going to be cupcakes are going to end up being some problems. So, yeah. No, I mean, and that were you, Alex? I don't know if you were the one on Twitter that was messaging or commenting that it's just painful to watch this team. I don't know if that was you or not, but if it was, what I was going to say to that person, if it's not you, Alex, I mean, you're without a lot of guys. You're without, you're out your number two receiver, you're out your two of your best defensive linemen, you're out your second cornerback, you're out your third cornerback. I thought it was you. What do you expect? You're going to win some ugly, dirty games. That's what we're going to be in. So just, buckle up, because what you saw tonight, I don't think you're going to not see that moving forward for a while until they get going. I mean, it's a lot to ask. Now, did we all want to, kick Dak to the curb after that first half? I mean, absolutely. It was like the throw to CD. I'm like, why? I mean, what was that even thought? The fumble. You got to protect the ball. You felt the rush. Just get down, take the field goal, and move on. And Greg and I were messaging each other during halftime. He's like, man, we got to score touchdowns. We can't settle for field goals. I said, but we had two. It would have been 12-3. Would have felt pretty good to me. Of course, they had the block one, but looking at the replay from what those guys said, Aubrey got hit it. I think they said it was going to be wide anyway. But, but at the end of the day, and this is what I'm going to be curious, we got our live show Monday. So tomorrow or today, we'll have our regular show at 7:00. Uncle Cheech, I don't want to spoil it, but he had a hell of a day. But all people want to know is what matters. Did they win? And when it, with Dak, they always say garbage stats. But when it came down to it, he came through in the clutch. And we can knock him and we can say, well, he screwed up those other plays, and can't argue with it. But at the end of the day, he got the W. And if he got the W, that's all that matters. That's all that anyone cares about, if I'm right. So, and it was a physical, tough game. And I'm just telling you, man, that's the Dallas Pittsburgh. I mean, it's hard for me not to put that as the number one rival in the history of the franchise. And I know San Francisco makes a great argument. Green Bay has a good argument. Philadelphia has a decent argument. They're not as much, maybe more like later now. You could probably even say Washington historically might even be a little bit more than Philly, like history wise. But I don't know. To me, Steelers, Cowboys, that helmet, them playing each other, I mean, I get chills and goosebumps thinking about it. That's why I'll never, whenever it's in Dallas, I'll never not be there. I don't care. I'll never not go to see it. I almost went to this one. I sure wish I did. I almost went to this one, but I'm probably glad I didn't because that rain looked pretty nasty, and I'm not one to be sitting in there. That's why I go to the Cowboys ones. We're in a dome. But any word on Guyton? Has any of you guys heard anything on Guyton? Tolbert, you guys watch the replay. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think Tolbert got hit in the nuts with the football. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he was hurt. I think he got hit. I think he obviously, any of you guys who've been hit there before, it's a very sensitive area, and it'll bring you to your knees, and you it'll take a little while for you to get your bearings straight. That's what I think happened. Any of you guys saw something different, let me know. But the ball skipped the ground, and he was kind of sliding, and it looked like it hit him square in the nuts, for lack of a better word. So I think he's fine. But I am worried about Guyton. But what did we talk about? Again, we'll go back to the beginning of the season, is this offensive line, to have Bass and have Hoffman there, and then they drafted Guyton and Beebe. We felt good about this depth. And then you got Richards as well. I mean, I think we've got some great depth at the offensive line. So if Guyton is out, the one thing I liked that they didn't hesitate. They put Tyler Smith out on the outside. And I hope they make sure they do that, and don't try and get too cute with anything else. So, right? There. Yes. All right. Rob, you confirmed it for me. That's it. I know that's exactly what I've seen, that look in a man's eyes before. I've seen the limp. I've seen the go down. I've seen, okay, I'm good. And then you go back down again because it hits you in waves. So I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. But Rob, I appreciate you confirming that. And any of you guys too, man, we have a great time on YouTube with Kelly K9, Jimmy D, and we got Greg in all the time. Make sure, if you guys haven't hit that like or subscribe, man, hit that like button, help your brother out. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel and just checking us out. We live stream on Twitter and Facebook. So if you're on Twitter and Facebook, at some point, just go over and hit subscribe. You can still watch us on Twitter. It's all the same, but the more subscribers you get, the more you're into some of the algorithms, the more street cred you get. So it does help. It doesn't cost you anything. So I'm not asking for any donations. I'm not asking for any money. All I'm asking you to do is just hit that subscribe. So if you can do your boy a solid tonight, if you guys haven't done it already, and we got over 500 of you in there, but Wednesday we have our giveaway because we did surpass 3,000. So I've got my Bob Lilly signed Tom Landry Funko Pop. It's badass, trust me. We're going to be giving that away live. So all you got to do is be on the show when we're live on Wednesday, and we will draw a name. We'll put a little spin wheel thing, and we'll put all the names in there, and we'll draw a winner. And then we got our George Teague, Defender of the Stars. So any of you guys that were at the tailgate, I know most of you, but if you're unsure and say, yeah, maybe I didn't get a chance to see Mike or get a picture with him, just make sure that you send me a message just reminding me you were there, and I'll put your name in the hat. So that way we'll get you in there. So appreciate it, Doug. And then Chris, yeah, depleted D line, man. They played their ass off tonight. They played their ass off tonight. Appreciate it, D Dog. And yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they're going to have to do something because Nealon's out for the year. I mean, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but when you see that kind of injury, you see that he couldn't put any weight on it, and then he's, you know, they're checking stuff out. It makes me think that it could, be ACL or something like that. So I think I don't have much hope. They're going to have to do something because I get the next man up, and it sounds good, and you can survive a few games with it, but if you're serious about wanting to be a contender, you cannot lose Sam Williams. You can't lose Tank. You can't lose Nealon. You can't lose Parsons. And you expect that you're just going to just throw another guy in there. It's just, it doesn't work. Doesn't work that way. And again, yeah, I'm glad you said that, Garland, because Zimmer's taking a lot of heat. And I think, now, hey, it ain't over yet. We got work to do. But, give him give him some of the credit too. He got creative with some of his blitzes, pressures. He's so far has helped fix the run defense. Hopefully that's where it's at. But we all ripped Zimmer the first few weeks. So again, if you're gonna rip him, you're gonna be you're gonna be it. So yeah, is that confirmed, Chris? Nealon's out there. He's gonna be out for the year. So if that's the case, that is definitely heartbreaking. I had a $10 bet that paid $540 that he was going to be the rookie of the year. So yeah, so that kind of stinks for that. It's a little side bet. Wheat was solid, yeah. So hey, and I love that. I love that. Get him in that rotation, but they're going to have to add. They're going to have to add some pieces. They're going to have to add some pieces. So what do you guys? I mean, you saw Tolbert. I mean, are you seeing him and like saying, you know what, he needs to be our number two? I know some people have, given him a lot of grief, but he's always seemed to make plays when called upon, and he hasn't been able. He hadn't been given the opportunities. But what I'm seeing is when he's getting those opportunities, he's coming through in the clutch. So I think you've got to give him more of an opportunity to be that number two receiver. And maybe you're moving Cooks into, the third receiver, slot receiver, more possession kind of thing. But I liked what I saw out of Tolbert. I mean, he had obviously the big catch, but he had those the clutch catches. So I mean, I think he's got to stay. I think Tolbert has earned it. I was hoping that I was good. There you go. I was hoping to see Flournoy. Now he was out there, but I didn't. He didn't get any balls thrown to him. So I mean, it's just again, it's opportunity. He's going to have to get his opportunity. But I mean, it was a heavy dose of Ferguson. It was a heavy dose of obviously Rico running. It was a good dose of Tolbert, and then obviously CD started off quick, but then kind of tapered off there. But yeah, but I mean, he had a big game, and he was good. He was good last week. He made some plays last week. So, but and I'm glad you said that too, Chris. For anyone who didn't join, because that we can kill Dak for the interceptions. Make no mistake about it. That one was bad in the end zone. Bad interception. Other one bad interception. But his heads up play saved the game. That him jumping on that, because the guy was right there. He beat him by a second. So you got to give him his due for that. But more importantly, when the game mattered most, he came through and delivered the touchdown game-winning pass. So, I had sometimes there's negativity, right? You deal with it, and I know all of us have been negative on Dak, and that goes with the territory. But it's hard for me to always give take someone serious on their criticism when they start every sentence with the highest paid player, because it really doesn't matter. I don't really care what people make. Now, if he would have said, Dak Prescott is not the quarterback to win us a Super Bowl, okay, I'll listen to that and I'll hear his arguments. But when your first sentence is the highest paid player, you just kind of lose. I just kind of lose interest. And then if you're gonna tear him apart for the first half, then I just want to see that same intensity. And I don't agree with this. I'm just going to say, if this is your mindset, then where's the heat on Josh Allen? Anyone see his stat line and see that game? Where's the heat on Joe Burrow? I mean, they let a big lead go. They lose to the Ravens. Where's the heat on Brock Purdy? Last I checked, they're 2-3. They lost to the Cardinals up a lot. They lost to the Rams that they should have won. So where's the heat on those quarterbacks? It always comes back to Dak, and I say that not only for Cowboys Nation, but I say that to the media. And where's the heat on the San Francisco 49ers? I mean, I heard them today. The national media said, well, they're the best 2-3 team in the NFL. I guarantee you that. Well, who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? And I look at this Cowboys team. They're 3-2. I think a lot of us, I think if we're being honest with ourselves, we probably had them at 3-2. If you did your little checklist on the schedule after the first 5 games, or you might have had them, maybe 4-1 or 3-2. But a lot of people probably had them down to 3-2. They're going to have their work cut out next week. I mean, they're going to have the Lions, and we're going to get into it on Wednesday. That's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. You got two really good running backs. You got a really, really good receiver. I don't know if we're getting Carson back, but I tell you, the kid who's been filling in from Penn State, RUA or RUI, I don't know, I'll butcher it, but I didn't hear his name much, and so he must have been doing an okay job. So, but this team is going to be, there's going to be some challenges, but I think a lot of people are shitting on the Cowboys because they're not beating everyone by 20 or 30 points, and they did that last year, and where did that get us? Got us a first round exit. We did it the year before, and where did it get us? It got us a second round exit. We did that the year before, got us a first round exit. So I'm okay with this team having some of these types of games. Now it's not good for the heart. It's not good for the stress. And now it's probably 1:40 or whatever time it is, and I still can't. I'm not going to have a hard time going to sleep. But I think long term for this team, it's going to be the best for them. It's going to be best for them because they're going to be battle tested, and I just think I just believe in that. I do. I mean, you can even look at as good as the Chiefs are, they have those battle tested games. They don't blow every team out. They have these weird games like against the Broncos. I remember they barely won and this and that. But so anyway, it's definitely it's a great win. I'm not going to minimize any win and say we got lucky or they gave it to us. I mean, the Cowboys went out there and earned that win. It was a hard fought game. That's a Pittsburgh Steeler typical team, hard nosed, tough defense, physical. That's what Mike Tomlin coaches. That's what Bill Cowher. That's the way he coached. That is Pittsburgh. That's just the way they are. As long as I can ever remember, and you're going to be in for a fight. And there's a reason why they don't give up a lot of points. That's why I said 20 points. I was feeling good if they got 20 points. So but they can't keep shooting themselves in the foot. Well, and I agree. And those are things they got to clean up. But in fairness, they're without a lot of people. And the run defense, under Zimmer, you heard Parsons say it. You heard a lot. Jay Lou went out and said it and said a lot of people are playing hero ball. You need to stay disciplined, and that's where it comes into. So when you get into that discipline part, that's really down to culture, and that starts at the tippy top. When you got an owner, GM, president that's taking his helicopter and flying it into practice, in the middle of practice. I mean, what kind of message does that send? What does that message send to your players? Practice isn't important. We can just stop it because you want to stop in and fly your helicopter and make some grand entrance. The focus should be football. That should be that should be the mindset of everyone in that organization from top to bottom. Is what we need, a culture of winning and a culture of football. And then the discipline comes with it, because you can throw it on McCarthy, and okay, you can throw it on him, but when he was with Green Bay, they were one of the least penalized teams. For a lot of those years. I mean, you're gonna have your anomalies and stuff, but he was one of the least penalized teams. Year in and year out. The Cowboys have been one of the most penalized teams under all their different coaches, except probably Parcells. But when you had Wade Phillips and you had Jason Garrett, and you had, now even McCarthy, it's the story is the same. So you can keep pointing at the coach, but to me, those kind of plays, it's culture driven, and it's the culture that the organization creates, and that's where I have issues with Jerry. And I know the fired Jerry GM, and I don't disagree with it, but I know he's not going anywhere. So I always say the Cowboys got to win in spite. So they got to create that us against them, but it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to do. It's like Greg Olson or Tom Brady. Someone was talking about it. You go to a Cowboy game and you see it if you're in the stands. It looks like a damn Super Bowl on the field. I mean, you got guys trying to warm up, and you got Mike Tyson and Jake Paul out there. You got celebrities out there They line up all the fans, and they do it at every stadium. So it's not just Dallas, but Dallas seems to do it a lot more. But you got all the fans, and they line that up, and I mean, it's like a Super Bowl. So, um, that's what you're creating, and I think that creates a culture where you just don't have that discipline. You don't have football first, and I think that's what they need. But yeah, PJ, absolute classic Cowboys Steeler game. That's going to go down. The last time we played, it was COVID, and we had our backup, right? So it's hard to. And that was still a good game. But I look back to the one before with Dak and Zeke, that their rookie year, and then the one I went to. Well, we won one in between when I think it was Brandon Carr. Someone stopped a pass and we ended up winning. And then the one I went to in Pittsburgh was the heartbreaker with Tony Romo and Terrell Owens. That was a crushing loss. We were winning the whole game. But that's what you're going to get. And I'm just telling you, man, there ain't nothing better than those two helmets colliding. Yeah, I would love to say that we're going to get Bland back for Detroit. I wish that were the case. I don't think it's going to. I think they're going to hold. I think they're going to give it one more week because they got the bye week next. I just have that feeling. I hope Bland can do it. But I think if they would have lost this game, I think they would have been pushing more. And I'm not saying they're going to be satisfied if they lose next week. They can lose next week. But I think they felt the pressure of you're looking at the schedule and looking what's ahead. They needed this. This is a win that they needed. They were the better team. I mean, let's just be honest. Even with our injuries, I know we're injury ridden, this and that, but we were the better team. We had the better quarterback, and if you got the better quarterback, you should win. Unless unless all you got's your quarterback, you got nothing else around him. But we got enough weapons around him that we were the better team, that we should win. And they went out and did that. Now, if they would have lost, I think you would have saw. There would have been a lot of pressure, even Parsons, trying to get Parsons out there against Detroit, because they would have had to find a way to win. Yeah, wasn't that? Yeah, that was the Brandon Carr interception. Yep. See, my memory's not so bad. It's not so bad. My birthday's on Tuesday. So I got, I'm getting older, but I'm able to remember some of this stuff, like fine wine, man. So anyway, I appreciate all you guys hanging, but it's East Coast time, so I'm just gonna leave you guys with one more thing, and just make sure hit that subscribe, hit the like, and hit the share. I got 600 of you guys hanging on Twitter and hanging with me on YouTube on the way out, or when this is over. Run back over there and just, if you hadn't subscribed to the Cowboys Cave, man, what are you waiting for, man? We put up some good content. We have great interviews. I still got to make up our interview with Hollywood Henderson. I saw him being featured on there. So I don't know if you know, but his grandson plays college football. So it's been, now that the season starts getting kind of tough. So we're trying to figure it out. I might just have to do a morning interview and just pre-record it, or just do it live, and you guys can watch it at your leisure. But you can't pass up getting Hollywood Henderson on there. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. And again, this is from my phone, so hopefully the quality and the audio is okay. I appreciate all you guys. It's been so much fun. Thanks for hanging with me. I got to get to bed. I got to get to work. I got to get up in 4 hours. So you guys take care. Enjoy that Cowboys victory. More importantly, join me tomorrow or tonight, because it's Monday. We'll break it down a little bit more. I'll be in the crib, in the cave, in the mini cave, and we'll be talking about it. So you guys have a great one. I appreciate everyone who hung out with me. It was a lot of fun, man. Cowboys victory. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see ya.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.